What's up, Primals? You're listening to the Talk Carby to Me podcast.
Hi, Anthony.
Howdy.
Howdy. How's it going?
It's going. I'm tired.
Same. I just came out from a long weekend in Florida, so I'm a little bit tired.
You're traveling to the motherland.
I know, right? Yeah, you'll laugh at this. So that was my last flight, right? So I can no longer fly anywhere anymore. I'm officially 36 weeks pregnant, and you're not allowed to fly anymore beyond that. But getting onto the airplanes, people were staring at my belly. I swear they were like praying that I don't give birth up in the air.
You should have just dropped a water bottle at your seat.
Should have been like, "Ooh, I don't know about that pain." Psych people out.
Is that like a thing? So that's an advised thing?
Yeah, like after 36 weeks, you shouldn't fly anymore because you could potentially go into labor. Like the cabin or the pressure. I think it's about the pressure of the plane and all of that could trigger things.
Pressure makes diamonds. That's all I know.
Yeah. I guess this applies to that.
I mean, technically.
Yeah. How was your weekend, or how was your weekend?
The weekend was good. I've been like just consumed by the World Cup.
I know. I was like watching the World Cup on my phone while we were doing baby shower prep stuff.
Yeah.
It's been wild.
Oh, it's been great. I'm super excited because I keep forgetting this as we're watching it. Like, it's great that it's in Qatar and whatever. But I think it's awesome that in 4 years it'll be in the United States.
Totally.
So that'd be dope to be the host nation.
Yeah. One of the host nations.
Is North America hosting it, or is USA hosting it?
It's Canada, US, and Mexico.
So it's North America. Yeah.
Yeah. So the closest stadium to North Carolina, if you're listening, is going to probably be in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I saw they were going to do Gillette in New England, Charlotte. Wait, maybe not Charlotte. Philly. I think New York is one of them. Georgia.
Miami.
Yeah. They probably actually won't do Georgia. Actually, I take that back. Unless they use one of the colleges, because the Falcons play on turf, and they're not going to let that fly in soccer.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, all I remember is Philadelphia and Miami, and that was important to me. So I want to go to both stadiums. We'll see how expensive the tickets are.
I was looking at now obviously I have no idea what the market of World Cup prices are, but I was looking on Ticketmaster, like if I wanted to grab a game in the group stage, it was reasonable.
Like how much?
It was like $280.
Oh, really?
It wasn't like astronomical.
All right. I thought it'd be more.
I did too. I'm sure as you get farther into the tournament, that'll bump up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh man, that's going to be super, super fun. I think soccer culture will explode around that time frame in the United States more than it already has.
Yeah, I don't think that literally the last 3 weeks, my timelines have just been U.S. soccer, U.S. soccer, U.S. soccer, U.S. soccer, and then they lost to the Netherlands. And it was like 2 hours of sad face, we did good. Sad face, we did good, and boom, right back to yep.
I know.
Give me Tom Brady.
Yeah, but the Netherlanders, the Dutch,
the Neanderthal, the Dutch.
I guess you just say the Dutch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dutch. They played really, really well. What can you say?
Those orange teams.
I know, right? But yeah, as we're recording this, Brazil is kicking South Korea's ass right now.
Yeah, I lost interest pretty fast. It's like watching a college team play like a Pee Wee team.
Yeah.
Like shout out to South Korea for getting there, but whew.
I don't have much to say.
Yeah.
For the record, my husband again is from Uruguay, and he's devastated that South Korea passed and Uruguay did not. And he's even more devastated that they're losing so horribly.
Oh yeah. Do you think they take any ancestral supplements?
I mean, maybe, but the way they're playing right now, I don't think so.
So that's obviously a nod to the news that broke last week about the Liver King.
Yeah,
What I
how
find
exciting.
what I find fascinating about it is that the reaction is not one of surprise.
No,
Everyone's
not at
just
all.
like everyone's just like, "Yep, obviously, told you so." Like, and it's like it's almost like relief
It
that like,
does feel like a relief. That's a really great way of putting it.
uh-huh.
Because I mean, for years, like even Joe Rogan would not interview Liver King because he just thought he was a phony. And
Yeah,
I was waiting for this to break. But for the way it did now too, I mean, it was just like savage move in the best way possible.
yep,
So I don't know. I haven't really, I will say, and it's on my to-do list. Like I want to dive deeper now into like what are people saying? Like what are the videos and the commentary coming out? I just saw his video of him admitting it. And I'm like, man, what took you so long?
yeah. It's just, what's up, Rivals? Like, and for a lot of people who don't know who the Liver King is, right? So Liver
People
King,
don't know. Yeah, tell
yeah,
them.
Liver King is basically this guy. I want to say he's in his 40s. He's about mid 40s.
That sounds about right. I'll Google it in the meantime.
Yeah, this man is absolutely jacked. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from that fact. This man is a beast, and but you can tell, like, he's obviously, he's loaded up on some gear. But his whole thing was like he eats organs to help with it. Like eats raw organs. He eats bull testicles, bull penis. He'll just eat liver like chopped up. Like a lot of the times the stuff is raw and like he'll post it. And he went viral on TikTok, Instagram, and social media. And a lot of people bought into that. And then he was I'm not sure if he was the CEO, but he was a huge figurehead in the company Ancestral Supplements, which was like you could take liver pills or heart pills and stuff like that. And the thought behind that was if I take liver pills. I would now have liver health. And his whole thing was going back to like this ancestral origin. Like when we were cavemen, we went and hunted and we ate the raw organs, and that's how they did it, and that's why he's so jacked. And that was the whole claim, that because of that stuff he was so jacked. And like you can see this man, and like if you're familiar with it, you're like, okay, like great, you're jacked, but that's definitely not the way, because tons of people bought into this once he went viral. And obviously that company exploded, and you have that tribe mentality, and that tribe kind of blows up, and he's doing that, and then it just comes out that he's loaded up on steroids, and
And
that's why he
so
looks like
much of it.
a
Sorry, I
ton of
interrupted
it.
you.
No,
So
good.
much of it. No, okay,
Yeah.
so he is 45 years old to confirm.
Okay.
Yeah. Wild. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like this is the whole situation. I mean, the way he looks too, like there's a certain like you look jacked when you take steroids, but there's a certain like roundness look you kind of get to it too. It's not like someone that's like super, super lean, like I don't know, there's a certain look to when someone is on that much gear and he's had it for so long. But and a part of me was like, well, maybe if you eat all those damn organs, that maybe that's how it could be. But then a part of me was like, come on, Sandra, like be realistic here. Like that is just not normal. And also too, just because you eat a penis, it doesn't like help your penis function.
My client actually asked me that this morning. She was like, "So he eats bull testicles and stuff like that. Like, does he eat bull penis? Like, and is the thought that it makes your penis healthier?" And I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, it's just like the same thing. Like, oh, if I eat a heart, like, will that improve your heart? Just that's just like not how it works.
Here's what I'm like curious, and I don't knock anyone for believing what they believe. By all means, if you think that's the way to go about life, and your interaction with the planet, go for it. By all means, you know, do your thing. If it were true, or you could prove it, and by the way, there's no studies that back that if you eat liver, it goes straight to your liver. Like if you
Yeah,
eat heart, it goes straight to your heart. Think of people like myself who are nearsighted. If I just go eat some eyeballs, like, does that just magically cure my eyesight? Like we would have done that already. It's the same thing
yeah,
with like the whole supplement industry and stuff like that. Like, oh, there's a fat burner. Like this is fat burning pill. Like if you thought that was that easy, don't you think we wouldn't have an obesity crisis in America and stuff like that? And it falls in that line of thought.
totally. I love that you brought that up. The same thing with cholesterol. People are like, I need to reduce my cholesterol, so I need to eat less cholesterol. And it's like, yeah, but that's again, like that's not really how that works. dietary cholesterol does not equate to blood cholesterol.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've been waiting. So I saw the video that More Plates, More Dates put out 3 hours after he posted it. And I was just itching for all this stuff to unfold. I was waiting for the deck of cards to just come crumbling down.
Well, did you see the email?
Yes, that he was posting in his video, you mean?
I don't know if he posted in his video. So basically, how this broke was he was emailing. I want to say it was another trainer or someone who had some sort of drug company. Don't quote me on that, but that person
Yeah.
eventually leaked it. But it was an email. In the email, he's talking about who he is, and he says his name, his age, and stuff like that. And he's like, "Yeah, and I'm pretty jacked." And one thing that's always like plagued me over there's all this back fat, which is a
Yeah.
super weird statement. It's a very insecure statement because if you see this man is solid muscle. Like
Yeah.
this dude looks like a bull. And like there's no fat on his body, but it's like that's a weird thing to why are you so like secure and stuff like that. And then he's also like, yeah, I've been working out like my whole life and I've been taking this, that, and the third. And he just goes on to list like all these things. And I'm not the most knowledgeable person on performance enhancing drugs and stuff like that. So like
Same.
I'm not even going to try to pretend to like go through, but it's more than you. It's a longer list than some people's supplement lists.
Yeah. Wasn't it like
And
$15,000 a month? Or was
yeah,
it $5,000? I want to say it was 15.
yeah, it's a lot. And he's also like, he's like, yeah, and I like to think, I'm a pretty fit animal, or so I think, and like almost like asking the guy like to validate the fact that he was in shape or something. It was just such a strange email to read, but they obviously like he gets leaked, and then that comes out from there. But I feel bad for everyone who's like buying the supplements, like the believers and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, it's a bad
Yeah,
look.
totally. Guess how tall he is. Not that this plays a huge factor into it, but it's a little fun thing to throw out there.
That's all.
He's 5'7".
That's not surprising. And then the
He's
back fat comment and like,
it's like the whole thing, I mean, is just like the perfect storm. And what I find most fascinating is this was all pre-planned. Like him to look that jacked, for him to blow up his social media, like there was a plan in place. Like even in his emails, he said, I want to get to 1 million subscribers by this and this date. And he even got there sooner than that. Like this was all like a big marketing campaign for him. Excuse me. And it worked out in his favor, right? I will say about his supplements, because I actually took them before I knew even who he was. Especially like I think it was like the beef liver supplements that I was taking to help with like iron and all of that. Um, it is the most unique kind of supplement on the market. Like if you were looking to replace some of like if you're interested in getting the benefits or the nutrients from organ meat without having to take it, there really is no other supplement on the market that you can take besides his stuff.
yeah. Do you know where they're made?
I don't.
Medellin, Colombia.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's, I don't know. This is too public for me to give opinions.
When I import something from Colombia.
Besides coffee.
No, coffee. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know what anything from Colombia smells like. I mean,
Yeah. Oh man.
yeah.
Well, I hope there is some sort of like testing process in play. I'm not 100% certain.
I mean, I'm sure there's something to it. Like I'm sure the supplements are nutrient. Like there's nutrients in there. I'm sure.
I'm sure of some extent.
But the foundation of their whole like play is just insane.
Yeah. In the end, like his message, there is like a positive health message surrounding what he does outside of just his looks. Like if you were to subtract his looks from what he's boasting about, like like eat more meat, exercise, sleep, like he has these 9 pillars of health. He has like a certain name for it, like
The ancestral tenets.
yeah, like if you read over them, that's like a really good thing for people who are disoriented in their health and fitness journey. It is something to grasp onto. So like I think from the program stand itself, it's not a bad system, it's not a bad program, and I don't think he had to take it to this extent. But is it causing a bunch of media attention? Is it causing us to all dial in and be obsessed with what's happening right now, totally.
Yeah, I personally thought it was a bad look, and you can kind of
Oh,
just
for
see
sure.
that you can well obviously that, but this part when the queen died, he went to the gates and was just lifting at the gates like to show like homage, like doing bicep curls at the gates, and it's like you're a fucking clown.
Okay, so I heard that that was fake, that that was someone else, like, pretending to be him, but it looked like him.
I look at
So I don't
I don't,
know.
there are too many motherfuckers that look like that.
I 100% agree with you. So, but yeah, I saw that too, and I was absolutely horrified.
Yeah, I would hope it's not real, but
Exactly, but if it is, like, shame on you, like, that's just distasteful.
yeah, such a wild thing. But yeah, I mean, everyone, anyone in the industry who's worth their salt, obviously saw that coming.
Yeah.
So
I mean, honestly, it's just yeah, I'm gonna keep following it because it's just so interesting for me, and I've been watching it for years. But I know some people even in the fitness industry that didn't know about him at all, even up until all this news broke out, right?
yeah,
But if you're not in tune to it, I highly recommend to start tuning in. It's fascinating.
if you like parody, you'll enjoy his content.
Yeah.
If you're taking his shit seriously, you should see a professional before you consider any nutritional changes based on that stuff. Is what I'll say. But if you like to laugh and just be like, "Oh, this is absolutely ridiculous," like, why are you carrying weights underwater? Like,
Yeah.
you'll you'll enjoy it.
Totally. I mean, you know what's interesting too? The person that leaked his emails. I mean, you're breaking HIPAA very severely by leaking these emails.
Was the person even a doctor though?
I don't know. But even if you're not, I mean, even trainers fall under the HIPAA laws.
Hmm.
Now, did we was there a lot of process in play when we were working at the gym? Questionable, but there technically are like those records are supposed to be HIPAA compliant.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Honestly, this guy's probably gonna get sued from Liver King, and it's not gonna be fun.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
He's not gonna sue him for slander though.
Well, he might sue more plates, more dates for slander. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
I don't know. We'll
Maybe
see how it on.
he should buy Bang Energy.
Oh man, I haven't been able to like look into the energy drink markets. I'm not able to drink them obviously. Can one still buy bangs or are they just completely like are they done?
You can find the shitty flavors around. Black cherry vanilla is the OG flavor. That is the Bang can to get. You have to selective sheets have them,
Mm,
but they're very few and far between. Someone technically did save them, but I mean they're going to be on a long way back.
I mean, that stuff literally felt like crack, you know? Like you drink a can and like you're ready, like you're fired up.
I used to very recently, and we talked about my caffeine addiction before. I would have a Bang while warming up, and then like I would get halfway through the Bang, and then I would sip on my pre-workout and fit down my pre-workout, and then continue drinking the Bang throughout my workout. So,
Yeah. At the peak of my bodybuilding days, I could drink two bangs and still fall asleep at night.
mm.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have great sleep anymore at that point because you still have the caffeine in your body. But I mean, that stuff, like, I mean, you were tired, you were hungry, and then you drank some of that stuff. And yeah, you felt like Superwoman or Superman.
I just honestly I got to the point where I was so caffeine tolerant because those of you that don't know, caffeine is something that you can acquire a tolerance for.
Yep.
It's like it was like drinking apple juice, just really really good tasting apple juice, and I was all for that.
Oh, yeah. Ugh. Hopefully, it won't go away just because I liked it. It's like the only energy drink that I liked.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone's like all about the Celsius now, and it's like, we get it. You like Celsius.
it's also one of those things, and we talked about like that whole clean eating culture stuff like that. It's like, why does everything need to be clean? Like, why can't I just have a shitty energy drink that just is loaded with caffeine that tastes good? Like, what's the issue there? Same thing with like beer. It's like no one's like, oh, I want a clean beer. Like, sure, if you have better made beer does taste better,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean
People,
that like a shittily made beer like is suddenly the worst
right.
thing in history.
I think especially because we are just part of the industry and we're here to boast about health and share helpful and nutritious information. that we are obviously in the front lines of just being targeted and ripped apart for any health habits that might go against what is considered to be healthy, or any nutrition habit or any habit in general. It's like, you know, people can have the worst lifestyle and no one says, and no one gets as scrutinized as people that are in the health and fitness industry.
Yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
look at, yeah, I mean, look at even doctors, right? It's not like, doctors that all they, their whole focus is around health and preventing disease. Well, I guess that's hard to say. Curing disease, right? Or preventing symptoms and stuff like that. And, they don't get as much scrutiny as other people do in the health and fitness industry.
Yeah. I can't remember. Not that I make a lot of visits to the hospital or anything like that, or a doctor, but you never really see a lot of like jack doctors. Maybe I'm going to the wrong doctors.
I know of one from my internships.
Yeah, I always get like super old Indian guys, and nothing
Oh,
wrong with
really?
that. They've been great doctors,
Yeah.
and but like I don't know, that was just like oh, it's just a strange, like a weird thing for me
The
anyway. My personal experience.
the doctor that or one of the doctors that I worked with, he was okay. Oh, two doctors now. So one, he is a bariatric surgeon. He was a little chubby, which I found ironic because you are the bariatric surgeon and you're showing up to these visits to help people, you know, figure out if they want a gastric sleeve, gastric bypass, and you yourself look like you have a belly. And then a heart doctor, and he was extremely obese. And I always found that so interesting. Like you're one step away from a
Yeah,
situation and you yourself are obese.
yeah, it's a fascinating thing. Like I'm sure the doctors that have tons of experience, their wealth of knowledge and stuff like that. It's an interesting field for that. It's also one of those things where it's like would you go to a barber if he was blind and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and but again, like I mean I've been accused of that stuff like that before, where it's like practice what I preach, you know what I mean? But it's like coaches coach, players play,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like our goals are different, our lifestyles are different and stuff like that. So
Yeah. And also too, I will say that health, like just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy. And just because you're overweight does not necessarily mean you're unhealthy, right? But um both ends of the spectrum make you unhealthy, regardless.
yeah, I know some folks who are technically overweight that they move really well, they're fairly active. And it's one of those like balance things. Like their version of balance just happens to be that. And if they're cool with that, I think the one undeniable thing, whether it be I'm overweight, I'm underweight, or anything like that, the more body fat you have, the more prone you are to illness. I mean,
Yeah. It's just what it is.
it's just a fact. It doesn't matter if you have more body fat on you, but you're super healthy.
Yeah.
The higher that number goes, just the more likelihood that you get some kind of sickness goes
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I'm not one of those people that says, "Oh, your body shape does not dictate your health status whatsoever." Like now there's that whole like body positivity movement, which is great and there is a place for it, but I think we're kind of seeing it happen a little bit to the extreme right now.
yeah. Oh my God. Literally, like the body positivity thing. Like everyone should love themselves.
For sure.
Right. We talked about this before. I'm a firm believer every single human on the planet has something to offer.
Yeah,
Right. Even physically. You
totally.
know what I mean? Like there no one is just like this born like this creature that's like awful, awful, you know what I mean? And like nothing is right for them. They might have like nice eyes or something like that, but everyone should love themselves. Like you should be happy in your skin.
Totally.
Um, and that's awesome. And I love that that's a movement that's being drawn to the forefront, and it's become more taboo to make fun of someone for their weight and things like that, which is a good thing. Um,
Agreed.
but you have the other side of that coin where it's like it almost teeters on, hey, let's all get fat. It's okay.
Yeah.
And when you look at the health markers and what I was saying about your likelihood for disease, it's like, come on, we should like yes, absolutely love yourself. You should have a great support system, support your friends, families, anyone out there who's struggling with maybe a fitness journey or something like that, or just like self-conscious about it. But also like, hey, like it's okay to be like, hey, you're more at risk.
Yeah. Totally. And I agree with you. I think we lost my train of thought. We were going to blame on the pregnancy brain situation. But anyway, I agree with you. I think being overweight, there's just, I think, oh, now I remember what I was going to say. Oh, I think it makes people feel relaxed that if they are overweight and they are unhealthy, this body positivity culture is just kind of saying, like, oh, well, you can relax, like it doesn't matter. Like there's almost like this, you lose the sense of urgency that maybe you should make a lifestyle change.
For sure.
And yeah,
Yeah, and it's that mob mentality.
totally.
It's that it's exactly what it is, unfortunately. And you look at the obesity statistics in America and combine, look at them 10 years ago, look at them 5 years ago, look at them 20 years ago,
Yeah,
and it's out of control, and compare them to the rest of the world.
totally.
And it's one of those things where it's just like, yes,
Yeah.
love yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I was gonna say, like, in the end, like, if you are not like, if you are not within the BMI ranges, you could hate BMI, but or body fat ranges that are considered healthy, but you're slightly overweight or slightly underweight, but you have a generally healthy lifestyle, like I think that is okay. And if you come to me and you say, hey, like, do you recommend other health things? But in my opinion, you're doing everything healthy, right? And you are happy with yourself, then that's all good. That's all good news. But unfortunately, that's not always how that works out.
Yeah. The thing that I find fascinating, I think if you look at just humans in general, like humans are very arrogant
Yes.
in general. The thing that I find so fascinating about it, you look at technology and like where everything's been going. Um, Lately, there's a much bigger push now where like, hey, you should be healthy, or you should eat healthy, or you should have a healthier lifestyle. And we know that if you have a healthier lifestyle, you tend to live longer.
Yeah.
So if you look at where technology's at right now, why would you not want to live longer? Right? Which
Right.
this thought fascinates me, right? So Elon Musk is working on the Neuralink implant,
Mm. Can you
right? Which
explain to us what the Neuralink implant is? Because I don't actually quite know.
I will sort of explain it because it's a very, very complex system. But basically, imagine if you have a chip implanted in your brain that allows you to communicate electronically with devices and things like that. It's very sci-fi. So, let's say let's flash forward this 20 years. Let's say the technology explodes and there's major advancements. Like you would be able to talk to other people without using your voice. So it would be what would seem like telepathy would be more of like this, almost like almost like two cell phones communicating on Wi-Fi, something like that, right? And you can have that implanted. So obviously, like if you have people that lost their vocal cords or speech impediment, can't speak for whatever reason, or need a prompter to kind of talk, that gives them the ability. Let's say if we reach a state where society kind of has these things, and it's just like the augmented reality stuff that you see going on right now, where you like have Google Glass or you have the Oculus and stuff like that, and you can have an overlay over your real world surroundings, kind of like a video game, how you have a heads up display. Um, and that'll give us, so imagine like what capabilities open up through that, right? So it's the same kind of thing where if you just drop me in the middle of Germany, or you drop me in the middle of Japan, or somewhere in Africa where I don't speak the native tongue, but we all have something like this. It opens up so much dialogue opportunity. And I'm sure there's other applications too. So obviously it's not a field that I study or anything like that. I'm just aware of it because I think it's cool. But when you put that into general health, like why not live to the point where we can maybe extend human life past what's the average age now? It's somewhere between 70 and 80
Yeah, I think that's right.
expectancy, right? Like why would you not want to extend that out?
Yeah, and kind of like see what happens in the world. I mean, it's exciting.
We kind of know what's going to happen in the world. If you've seen Terminator, we're going to turn into the plot of Terminator. But
Thanks for your predictions, Anthony.
hey, San Francisco just passed the law that their robots are authorized to use lethal force in crisis situations.
Really?
So in 2023, someone's definitely getting shot by a robot.
Well, that's just lawyers are just sitting back for that one to happen then.
Yeah, well, if you look at it, like artificial intelligence, like the calling for it is it can make everything more efficient. That's what
Right.
it does. When you look at computer programming, computer sciences, and things like that, when you implement AI and you have all these advancements, it makes it more efficient. Look at Amazon, how
Mm.
Amazon runs today versus how Amazon ran 30 years ago, right? It's a huge difference there. So the belief is humans will become the thing that's inefficient that needs to get removed for the planet to kind of continue on, and the robots will wipe us off. That's obviously that's a conspiracy theory, but that's
Right.
where that line of thought comes from.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna sit back and wait and see how that all plays out. I'm definitely a little bit more skeptical on all those things. I mean, it's exciting, right? Like, but there's a part of me where, I'm sure as other people might be nervous or worried. I'm one of those people.
Oh, you'll definitely see me in 21, 22, just bicep curling in the gym, like no problem. Like half of me would be cybernetic, like oh,
I was about
whatever.
to say, are gonna be a robot at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like, if you've seen the Dark Knight, right? They're the Dark. Wow, what's the third Batman movie? The Dark Knight
I don't
Returns.
watch Batman.
No, wow, I can't believe I'm messing this up.
I wouldn't even know even if you told me.
Anyway, in the third Batman movie with Christian Bale, I'm judging myself hard for not remembering this movie. He needs to come out of hiding, but he's old, decrepit. He gets all these like attachments that like make his muscles work again and stuff like that. Like that stuff is cool. Like if we can get to there, you know what I mean? And like, and you look at the advancements in like amputee technology and stuff like that. It's like,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That stuff.
why not? Like, why would we oppose that as a society? Like I didn't have an
Yeah,
arm. Now my arm is metal. Like no shot
for
on
sure.
breaking my arm. I might have to, get a wall charger for my arm, but
Gotta plug my arm in.
right.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know. It's fascinating stuff what's gonna come, that's for sure. I think by the time we are our grandparents' age, we're gonna have experienced so many changes in our lifetime. And we're gonna sit around and be like, remember dial-up internet?
I do.
I do too.
That screeching noise, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like what? Like make that a ringtone right now.
I love that like we're in that age bracket where we're part of all the advancements that exist, right? Like the iPads and this digitalization stage of the world of our species in a way, but at the same time we still remember how things were before all of it. Like I
Yeah,
remember not having a cell phone. I remember driving around with my mom. We didn't have a cell phone, right? So I still remember those parts of life. And I think that's cool that we can say that.
yeah, for
Makes me
sure.
feel
I
old, but
ever
whatever.
yeah. In high school, everyone had that Nokia brick phone that you could play Snake on, and that was like dope.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You had to press keys multiple times. You saw the switch.
T9.
Yeah, you saw the switch to iPhone. You saw the switch to broadband internet, like all that stuff. So that was a crazy thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a beast on T9, but we're getting way off of nutrition topics.
Mm, T9. Yeah.
I could text with one hand. Now I need two hands to text.
Yeah. The good old days.
The good old days.
So I actually got a question in my DMs that I'd like you to tackle.
Okay.
So the question was, how would you approach weight loss if you're dealing with PCOS?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. So, okay, let me first kick off the subject by saying that there are a lot of qualified individuals that specialize specifically in PCOS. Okay. And even though I have helped people with PCOS, I'm definitely not the expert of PCOS. Okay. But I am really great at getting people to lose weight. So I will still tackle this question. So basically, when it comes to PCOS, a lot of it has to do with um, or tackling your health with PCOS is keeping your hormones in check and creating like a healthy, nutritious environment where your hormones can flourish in the positive sense that make them work for you and not against you. So we got to look at foods in particular that cause any kind of like hormone disruptions specifically. Because in the end, a lot of times what happens with people that have PCOS and weight loss is that they try all these different diets, they can't lose weight, they have a really hard time with it. And I think phase one needs to be we got to clean up the diet to make the food work for you so we can start doing some healing And through the healing process, we'll be able to achieve weight loss. So it's kind of like a two-stage process. A lot of times people get frustrated when they hear that answer because they wanted the weight loss yesterday, and it's like we got to heal first before you can really lose weight, because your body's hormones change again when you're losing weight. So um, basically, what I would look a lot at is how much processed foods are in your diet. Can we start making some replacements there for whole foods? How balanced are your meals? A lot of times, a lot of them can be very carb heavy. That's really spike your blood sugar and all of that. So we'd want to make sure that you are getting healthy amounts of fats in your diet, protein, carbohydrates, and making sure there is a nice balance there of that. And also making sure your blood sugar stays balanced from those meals, so we don't have high blood sugar spikes or drops. Then I would also look at how much plastic and chemicals do you have in circulation. Are you someone that just like everything has to be perfumated, like from your shampoo to your soap to your laundry detergent? Like, is everything really perfumey? Do you use a lot of plastics? Do you heat your food up in plastic containers? Like that kind of thing you want to look at too, because all those chemicals actually can lead to hormone disruptions and endocrine disruptors. So you want to kind of clean that part up as well. And then I'd also look into artificial sweeteners as well, just because they can disrupt your gut microbiome, and we don't want to do that either. So basically looking at how much of all of that exists in your diet and working on the things that we can tackle first, that are easiest for you to tackle first, and then the weight loss piece will follow. So that will be my approach.
I like it.
Went a little bit on a tangent there.
That's okay. I've taken a similar approach. I've had a client before that we worked with for nutrition that was dealing with PCOS. And so, for those of you that don't know, right, so the symptoms of PCOS generally are going to include irregular periods or no periods at all. It can be some infertility issues, excessive hair growth, right? So usually mustache, face, anywhere that kind of area. It might be an indicator. You have, if you have, back hair, stuff like that. Obviously, trouble with weight maintenance, right? Or you have some dealing with some weight gain, and you have like really oily skin, or you're dealing with some acne kind of stuff. Those are usually like the indicators that you're dealing with something like that. And obviously, think of that as you're like a car and you've got all your check engine lights on. Right. So you want to pay attention to those things, especially if you're looking to make changes in your lifestyle and stuff like that, because they'll be the way. So we actually did the same process, cleaned up the diet, got her moving around more and things like that. And we had some success. The one thing I would say though, like definitely temper expectations, right? So like it's definitely a marathon and not a sprint, right? When you're trying to
Yes.
hit that goal. So we would have weeks where usually I have my clients check in with me weekly where it's like, hey, where are we at for weight? Where are we at for weight? Not that I think the scale is the be all end all. It's just a data point that I kind of like to be aware of. I really don't think it's really any indicator of success at all, but it's something to kind of keep a note on, especially if you're changing really minute variables in the diet.
Totally.
And we would stay same for 3 weeks, and then we drop 2 pounds. Same 3 weeks, drop 2 pounds. Same, and rinse, repeat. So it was a little different. But as we kind of clean that up, you start to see, the wheels start turning, and that snowballs into a healthier lifestyle. So
I 100% agree. I think also too that the whole idea that you have to lose 1 pound per week is, for weight loss and stuff is kind of an antiquated approach as well. I mean, yeah, in an ideal world, you lose 1 pound a week, but reality doesn't always work that way. And especially if you have any like kind of pre-existing conditions, especially like PCOS, you just can't expect to have similar results as someone that has a clean bill of health.
yeah, it also depends on like where you're at in the process. I guess so. Say you're super healthy uh, in some semblance, and you have there's just a couple of things you need to clean up and stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit of a slower drop for you. So someone like me, I'm a little bit closer on the lean side, and like I'm not going to lose weight as fast as someone who's 400 pounds. Like it'll
Totally.
be different. Like when I bulked last year, I was gaining a pound a week of muscle, and that was like ridiculously hard. If someone brand new to the gym was working that hard, they would have lost like 40 pounds in a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it depends where you are and like what your reality is currently. If everything is kind of a shit show right now, as you clean those things up, it'll happen a little faster.
Yeah.
And but the other way around, like sometimes it's gonna a lot of times it'll take some time, especially if you have almost have a condition or something going on with your body where it's almost like a difficulty modifier, if you will.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. And especially like with PCOS, every person is so different. And like some advice might work for one person and might have like zero effect on someone else too. So if you have PCOS, which I guess we never actually said what it is, it's polycystic ovary syndrome. If you have one of those diseases, it's really important that you do work with a qualified professional to help you work through it and your weight loss journey with it. So make sure you are working with someone that knows about it and isn't new to this disease. So just make sure you're in good hands.
Exactly, for sure. Always seek a professional, aka
Always.
aka Sandra.
What
So
other questions did you get?
so I got another one here. So what exercises like should I start with in the beginning of a workout program, and like how do I know what to do when
Ooh.
I start in the gym?
I feel like you should kick this one off.
I should kick this one off.
Yeah, kick the other one off.
So a lot of it is a lot of it where I start with people. I like to have them when I meet someone for the first time. I like to take a look at them and just assess them and see some of those things. Like, what are you good at? There's got to be something that your body does fairly well, right? So, what's your lifestyle like? Okay, now let's see you move a little bit. I'll have you do something that looks kind of like a squat, right? I don't do the overhead squat assessment. I think that's the biggest joke in the fitness industry. It's an unfair position to put anyone in, especially for a movement that maybe 1% of the entire population that works out ever does.
That's
So
why we do it
yeah,
for
I
an
mean,
assessment. We're
you but
trying to
you
sell you training.
oh exactly. You're just creating a situation where it's like one of those things where it's like, hey, juggle a soccer ball, rub your stomach, and pat your head,
Yeah. For
and then
those, I know you guys can't see Anthony, but he just got so flustered when I said that right now. I could just see him like tweaking out for a
I almost flipped the desk.
second.
For those of you that don't know, you can sell training without using an overhead squat assessment. And if you don't know how, DM me and I will teach you how. But I want to see how you move. How do you interact with gravity and stuff like that, right? When you squat, what does that look like? What muscles are tight? Like, kind of go through. And if you're not working with a trainer or anything like that, go to the gym and see what comes really naturally to you. See the things that you do more comfortably. See things that if you see someone doing something else and you're like, hey, maybe I can work out with a friend, and maybe I want to try barbell back squatting, and then you do that and it feels awful, it's awkward, it looks bad, stuff like that. Record yourself compared to just Google barbell back squat, and you'll see plenty of diagrams that show you what it looks like. If you're a little off from that, it might not be something that you have the capacity to do yet, right? So when you look at movement patterns, and that's kind of like my training model, looking at movement patterns, like what movement patterns do you have? Can you push straight up overhead? Can you push straight forward? Can you pull straight into your body? Can you pull vertically? Can you do a squat? What does it look like on one leg? Can you do a hinge? What does that look like on one leg? And those are kind of like the big ones. And you kind of dissect it from there. A lot for some people, they'll squat with a barbell and it'll look terrible. And an easy fix for that is just to make your legs stronger using something like a leg press machine. You don't necessarily need to go through all this mobility work, all this corrective exercise and stuff like that. While that stuff does have a role, if you can get into the shape that's required for a movement, then you can correct within that movement pattern. But if you can't, a lot of times it could be a strength thing. So what I would say is find out where you are and what you have access to, what feels normal and what doesn't feel normal, what feels comfortable, what does not feel comfortable. And then you can kind of break it down from there. I have a client who's got some back issues. So obviously I can't load his spine. I can't make him heavier, right? So I have to unorthodoxly train his legs, right? Which is going to be a leg press machine because his torso is not supporting anything, a leg extension machine, because, again, for the same reason. And instead of doing anything really like squat related, I might have him body weight squat with a foam roller against his back just so he can get used to the shape that I'm looking for. But I'll train him on a sled and I'll just have him push a sled. For the most part, he's strong enough in the upper body where he can maintain his rigidity right throughout his, and not over leverage his back, and he can get some volume, his training volume into his legs. Right. So when you go to the gym, it doesn't always have to be I went to the gym and I did legs, so I squatted until I was going to die. Right. It can be I went to the gym and my superset was with no weights. I practiced how to squat and then I did leg extensions and then I practiced how to squat and then I did leg extensions. So you can work on a drill and then have an isolation machine that just focuses on putting some tension into that muscle. And you'll start to see those two blend together over time. And that's usually where I kind of start people.
Yeah, I think that's a really great answer. I mean, Anthony's definitely really good at like movement assessment. I would say you were just like that was like your specialty, and basically figuring out someone's weakness, right, and then building things up from there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're so kind.
I know, right? Let me give you one comment a podcast or one compliment a podcast. So basically, if I had to answer that question, right, like what exercises would to begin with, I guess, are we just assuming this person is generally active and generally knows exercises?
No.
No. Okay. So if you're brand new to working out, should we start with that?
Yeah, that's how I approached it. I guess
Okay.
we can answer, we can also, after you answer this, we can also answer it from the point. Let's say you're advanced.
Okay. So I'm gonna break my answer up then already.
Do it.
If you are brand new to working out, like you like are someone that even in high school, you just weren't that person that was gifted in sports and you did other activities, I would say if you're trying to increase your physical activity is really looking at like what would you enjoy doing. A lot of times you will default to classes, which is fine because you're probably just trying to find your footing. So maybe you like Zumba classes, maybe you like your yoga classes, maybe you like the more weightlifting classes, or you want to pick up cardio of some sort, right? In the beginning, any sort of movement is going to be an improvement. So you don't have to be the person that runs straight to the squat rack, okay? Nor should you really be that person. So start somewhere, kind of figure out what you like. Now, if you say you do want to pick up weightlifting, I highly encourage you to work with someone. Like, I think it's going to save you. Beginning, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but it will save you money in the long term. It will save you money from an injury standpoint. It's going to save you money from a sense of it's going to teach you exactly how to move. So many people do not know how to squat correctly, how to deadlift correctly. And it's one of those art forms in a way that no matter how great you are, there's always something you can do to fix your squat. There's always something you can do to fix your deadlift. But if that's something you're really interested in doing, which I highly recommend everybody look into doing, you should really work with a professional. Because like to Anthony's point, right, you might be an individual, you really can't move that well from just being sedentary for so long. And you need proper modifications to everything until you can work your way up to a squat or you can work your way up to a deadlift. So I think that's a really great first step. And also finding the right trainer, which is a
Yeah.
whole nother mission on its own,
Mhm.
right? Is finding a trainer that you trust. Hint, hint, it's probably the person that's the most busy and has the least availability for you. Most likely that's going to be the person for you.
Or the guy with really nice hair.
Oh.
Hint, hint, hint. No, I'm kidding. I'm
Anthony's
kidding.
not talking about himself whatsoever with that point. But there are other really great trainers too, right? That aren't that busy. They choose not to be that busy. Okay. But I have like 8 movements that I find like absolutely essential for any programming. And again, these movements you can either advance or regress depending on where you're at. So for me, lower body, it's a squat of some form, a deadlift, a lunge of some form, and then a glute specific exercise. I can talk to you all day about the importance of glute training, but I will spare you that right now. And for upper body, it's going to be some sort of press or a push, like a push up, some sort of row, a pull up, pull down, and some sort of shoulder activity. Ideally, an overhead shoulder press, but that's not doesn't work for everyone, depending on your injuries. So if I had to say, if you could only do 8 exercises, those would be my top 8.
I like it.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great stance. And yeah, I mean that there are trainers that just prefer not to be, incredibly busy. I'm actually one of them, believe it or not.
I was honestly, there's only so many people I can train in a day or have so
For
much mental capacity for.
for me, if I have to see a lot of people in a day, like it's exhausting because I'm an introvert, right? And
Yeah.
that is so it like you're taking my energy a little bit, you're taking from my cup a little bit. I love what I do, but a great example, I had a client that I used to train on Fridays. I used to train her at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I started my day at 6, and I was straight through. And one day I had availability in the morning, and her schedule worked out that way, so she came in at 7, and she was like, "You are such a different person in the morning than you are at
Hmm.
the end of the day." So when you look at like the kind of quality that we can deliver and stuff like that, if you are out there and you are a trainer, right, that's one thing to kind of take a look at. And we talked about this with Kevin actually, as far as like what's your bandwidth to be able to provide a service and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so I look at it also like shapes. Like, what does your body look like when you put yourself in the shape of a squat? Which coincidentally, if you take a picture of yourself at the bottom of your squat and then go sit in a leg press and go to the bottom of your leg press machine, depending on the angle of the seat, it's going to be some pretty similar looking shapes, right? If you just use this one line for your legs, one line for your femur, one line for your shins, right? Can you get into that shape? And if you can't do it with a barbell on your back, that's okay. Go sit on a leg press. The leg press, the machine is going to be designed to eliminate the need to one, balance the bar, but two, if your core can't stabilize with a load on top of you, okay, cool. Your legs can get into that same shape and you can still train that pattern.
Yeah. And also to Anthony's point, I mean, for some people, like some people are even so deconditioned, the leg press is like not even an option, right? So sometimes if you're one of those people too, just sitting down on something that's about hamstring parallel and getting back up again and doing that for 12 times is extremely exhausting.
A
So
chair.
a chair. Yeah, great starting point. If you do that 12 to 15 times and you feel like you didn't even like get a workout in, then you're not one of those people. Okay.
Yeah.
But there are people out there that is challenging enough, and that's okay, right? That's a great starting point too. So if you're one of those people and you feel discouraged that 15 feels unbearable to do, that's okay. Just keep working on doing your 15.
Yeah. And also like really, so that's if you're brand new, right? How do you kind of go
Yeah.
through assess? And like you got part of it becomes I need to know my body. If you're intermediate or advanced, you're familiar with the the basic fundamentals and stuff like that. And it's like, how do I find out what exercises I should be doing for XYZ? It really matters why you want why you want working out, right? That's where goals become very specific. Are you like, is your goal to grow your butt? Is your goal to lose fat? Is your goal to be as strong as possible? Is your goal to compete in a show or something like that? Or are you looking to grow muscles in specific areas and things like that? Because that'll matter as far as kind of what you should be doing, right? So for me, anyone who's like, I'm in a hypertrophy phase, all that matters to me is building muscle and stuff like that. You're not deadlifting, right? And that might be an unpopular opinion, but you're not going to be deadlifting if that's your main goal. Will you know how to deadlift? Sure, but you're not going to deadlift because it's not the optimal hinge pattern for hypertrophy. Period. And if you look at the human body mechanics, you get way more out of an RDL, a barbell RDL, and stuff like that. Plus the risk to reward ratio there, as far as what's required to do a deadlift versus some of the other exercise where we can get good growth, is going to be one of those things that we can get a little bit maximized out of. Now, if your goal is I want to be strong as hell, I want to compete, I want to pull these big lifts, then we're going to be deadlifting, right? So it's very goal dependent on the variable that you want to see come out. And to get results from anything that you're doing in the gym, you need to be very clear about that so that you can track the thing that you're supposed to be working on, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm probably not. I probably wouldn't rule out deadlift quite so fast. That's just me.
Oh yeah, and
Different training approaches.
yeah,
Every trainer has a
and
little bit different approach, right? So it also depends on like what your goal exactly is. But I'm not so quick to rule a deadlift. Be very strongly convinced why you shouldn't be deadlifting.
you can get into better hinge patterns in other movements. That's why I wouldn't do it. If the goal is if it's just to grow muscle and make your butt bigger. We're both right though. So that's the beauty
Yeah,
of it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Either way, the cat still gets skinned. So
exactly. That's a great analogy, Anthony.
yeah.
That's a really, really great analogy. And that's what I think also too, like it's important that whatever program you do pick out for yourself, that you stick to it. Because like just how Anthony and I can disagree on like if we should involve a deadlift or not, right?
Yeah.
Like if you were to listen to me one week and Anthony the next week and then back to me then the following week and then Anthony again the next week, right? You might not see which approach is working. It's just a hodgepodge. So sticking to a program, making sure you have a nice periodized program is really, really important for your goals too. So whatever you're trying out, and give yourself longer than 2 weeks, please. Oh, I hate I shouldn't say I should not use the word hate. I get annoyed of the people that come to me and they're like, I've been trying this for 2 weeks and I haven't seen any results. It's like, yeah, it's been 2 weeks. Come back to me in 4.
Yeah. The other thing too is general advice. Doesn't matter if you are a beginner, you are an expert, you are whoever you are. You really don't need more than like 5 or 6 exercises.
Yeah.
Right. So imagine let's say you're in the gym, really think about what you want to get out of that day. Right. If you've ever worked with a trainer, that's why we have like a push day, a pull day, a lower body day. Right. And you'll see a lot of times you'll see lower body glute focus, lower body hamstring focus, or quad focus, or something like that. Right. Really be clear about what you want to get out of the day.
Yeah.
And then think of it like you're building a meal at dinner, right? You went out to dinner, right? When you go to a steakhouse, they're going to bring you the main entree. You have the option for an appetizer, right? Appetizer is your workout. Your entree is going to be kind of like the main event of the workout, which is usually going to be your first lift. It's probably going to be something compound.
Yeah.
Right. You wouldn't have an entree, and on the side of that have another entree, and then on the side of that have another entree.
And if
Right.
you do, come talk to us.
And that does, yeah. You might need our services, or you're just a monster and like you can tell me to go fuck myself, and that's okay.
We'll
But
accept it.
if it's a lower body day, right? We'll have the main event is probably going to be the squat, right? Or it's going to be a deadlift. It's one of the other. Rarely for me is it ever both high. Personally, occasionally a couple times a month I will work out that way. But when I'm training with someone or I'm working on a program and stuff like that, one of them will be the focused. The other one is going to be more of a drill. If we have like a heavy deadlift, the squat is going to be more of a just looking for some tension pattern, right? It's going to be something that's more like a drill, like a goblet squat or a heel elevated goblet squat, something to feel the movement be good. And then we're going to have a couple, side dishes. So we're going to have some leg extensions, maybe some calf stretches, some calf raises, some hamstring curls, stuff like that. We're not going to have like I did squats and the deadlifts and then RDLs. And then I did a different variation of squats. Then I hit the leg press machine. Then I hit the leg extensions. Then I hit hamstring. By like exercise 4, it's like you're going to make a poor case for trying to overcome the fact that you're just including junk volume into your workout.
Yeah. And again, there's a time and place also for junk volume, but for the most general, like for the most part, you don't need the junk volume.
Yeah.
So you can see a lot of great improvements just by doing, I mean, honestly, even if you did 4 solid exercises, like religiously 4 times, like whatever, like let's say you pick out 4 lower body and 4 upper body exercises and you did those religiously for, a couple weeks straight, right? 2-4 times per week, let's say, right? You will see some really great results as long as you are also lifting heavy enough.
Yeah.
Because some people too, like I always see them working out. It's mainly women, to be honest, not so much men. Or I see them working out, and I'm like, is this even painful for you? If you can carry a conversation while you're bench pressing, and it's not heavy enough.
Yeah.
So making sure also too, like you're lifting heavy enough while doing all those movements, I think is super important. 'Cause if not, you could. I mean, there's a time and place again for that too. Like if you're just having a shitty day and it's hard enough for you to get to the gym as is, and you're just trying to run through things, then maybe that isn't the day you need to be lifting super heavy, right? But for the most part, like you should really focus on making sure that you are getting the best bang for your buck out of your workouts.
Yeah. Fitness, like you see a lot of like culture, like, oh, like it's fun and stuff like that. I've said it before. It's not supposed to be fun,
Yeah.
right? You're inducing change. It's just not a fun process. If anything, think of anything you've ever tried to change. It's not a fun process. Now, with that being said, there are definitely things that you can enjoy, even though they're not fun. And what I like to do, if you have something that is not enjoyable for you, right, or it sucks really bad, but there are things that you enjoy, combine them in a superset, no matter how weird it looks. Right, you'll do something that you enjoy, and then okay, to get that enjoyment, I have to do this, and it creates like this is the stepping stone into the thing that I like, and kind of sandwich it in between two things that you have fun doing. A lot of times, you'll see that's a good way to get better at something that you might shy away from ordinarily.
Yeah, you have to go through a phase of being uncomfortable when you're working out. Like working out should feel uncomfortable. I mean, yeah, it should feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I like to, sometimes I like to take my workouts to a really dark place. They don't all have to go that way. Nor honestly, as someone who's been doing this for a while, you're probably not going to have the mental capacity to take it to a dark place every single time. Right? It's just not realistic. And the same is true on the other end of the spectrum. You're not going to feel great, like shooting stars coming out of your ass for every single workout either. You're going to have some of those days where it's just like, I just need to get through this. I just need to go through the movements and stuff like that. But the hope is somewhere along the way you find like, oh, I did have a really bad day and I also still had a really good workout. Like those two things
Yeah,
can exist.
yeah. Anthony definitely has a little bit of a darker soul than me. He thrives in that dark place in his workouts, and I'm almost the opposite a little bit in that. Like I can like sometimes like when I'm really upset and angry, right? Which is really hard for me to channel anger. That's a separate therapy conversation. But it's harder for me to get a great workout in. I'm definitely one that thrives on like positivity, and like I have been known to kind of start giggling when something gets really hard too. Um, but again, find what works for you. Just find what works for you and find a trainer that works for you too. I just think it's so important and so underappreciated what trainers do. And I think it's because everyone can be a trainer, quite frankly, if they wanted to. So find a trainer that is a quality trainer that you connect with and can bring you to your goals.
For sure.
And if you're still lifting the same amount of weight a year later, question all of that.
Yeah. And what Sandra's touching on there is progressive overload, right?
Yeah.
So if you were bench pressing and all you could do was 100 pounds, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And you just added one feather every single day to the bar. By the end of the year, you should, I don't know how much a feather weighs, but
I have no idea.
you're lifting the barbell plus 365 feathers, where it was just the barbell before, and that was your max, right? So even if it's those little 2.5 cookie plates, that's why those exist. Also, fun fact, those are the heaviest plates in any gym. But yeah, progressively over time, right, you should be lifting more. And plus, you have to, because once you acclimate and you reach homeostasis again, you again need to challenge yourself.
I am currently Googling how much a feather weighs. So, for the record, a feather weighs 0.0082 grams. So,
Well, what feather? Are we talking like an eagle feather, a pigeon feather?
oh my God, okay, I can't. It says average feather weight.
A lot.
And it says, according to ornithologists.
Ooh.
I don't know what that is. Okay, hold on. Let me do some math here. I need to figure out now how much that is. I'm just curious now. And I'm sure other people are going to be curious now too, given that I'm curious. Times 365 would be 3 extra kilograms.
It's pretty solid.
That's pretty solid.
Is that 6.5?
Oh, wait, no, that's not right. 2.993 grams. I'm sorry, I did that wrong. 2.993 grams. All right, well, 0.0066 pounds.
A still counts.
You still can lift more
Yeah.
or 0.1 ounce.
Yeah. But slowly over time, right?
Yes.
Add a little bit on. Some days, honestly, you won't be able to, depending how your recovery is and stuff like that. That's okay, depending how your
Yeah.
nutrition is, if you're fueling up correctly. But
Yes.
over time, you should see when you go look at your stock portfolios and you see they go up and they go down, they go up, they go down, they go up. On a micro scale, like currently, it might look like the stock market's in shambles. If you zoom out for the last zoom out for the last year, you'll see the trend looks different. So um, especially when you look at weight and over time and how strong you are and how much you're lifting, definitely take a macro view to that and say, okay, when I first started, I was here. It's a lot more now, even though on the micro, which would be like in looking at it in just the day, it's like, oh, this weight's not that much more and stuff like that. Over time, those things are going to compound just like compounding interest does. Now this is going to become an economics conversation, right? So invest in yourself because it compounds over time. You know what I mean? So
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you guys have more questions, like, please feel free to reach out to us regarding working out and all of that. It's kind of like nutrition to some degree, again, too, where like some things are absolutes and some things are very based on the person.
yeah.
So most of the things are based on the person.
Oh, for sure. I mean, most things should be based on the person because we're all kind of unique.
Yeah. So yeah, don't beat yourself up if you are not part of that one size fits all kind of approach. And just, ask people for guidance. You'll learn a lot. A lot, a lot.
For sure.
Any other questions you got this week, Anthony?
Not really, but I did have some conversation with some friends about resolutions. Because we're getting to that time of the year, and I do not believe in resolutions. Which apparently, as being a trainer, it's something where it's like,
that's just awful.
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding.
I don't believe in resolutions. Usually, if there's something I want to change, I think of a plan and I just fix it. Like, what the hell am I going to wait for January 1st for? So it can be like the first 20 years of my life where I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this, and I never did it. I'm just going to go do it. I'm going to go do it on Wednesday. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Although I will make one concession. This year, I do have a resolution.
Oh.
Yep. My resolution is to celebrate every holiday in 2023.
Define every holiday.
See, popular question. And the first holiday you probably thought of was Flag Day. Because every single person I've spoke to was like, even Flag Day? Like, yes, I'm going to fucking celebrate Flag Day.
No, I actually thought about Columbus Day. But I guess that's unpopular these days.
Whole Indigenous Peoples Day. Get it right.
Is that really what it's being renamed to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Back in my day, it was Columbus Day.
What an asshole, huh? Not you, Columbus.
I know. I didn't think you thought I was an asshole.
I'm talking about the major ones, right? So we got New Year's Day doesn't count, right? So this New Year's doesn't count. It's my least favorite holiday. We'll get into that at a later time, right? Valentine's Day is going to be a tricky one to celebrate, right? So
you can do single Valentine's Day. That's becoming trendy.
That is becoming trendy, and I think because it's trendy, I don't think I'm into it. I think I'm just going to go. I'm going to go make a reservation. Of course. I'm going to go make a reservation at the most romantic place I could find for one.
You know what? You should make a reservation for two just in case. And then people, if you're listening and you are single on Valentine's Day, hit up Anthony. He has an extra seat at his reservation.
That's true. Also, right. So then we go into, right. So we're only talking the major ones. Valentine's Day, that'll be tricky. St. Patrick's Day is going to be pretty easy. My birthday's in April on National Tax Day, so I guess we could celebrate that.
Yay, taxes.
Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July. We're celebrating Halloween. I'm going all out. Like,
what about Easter?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Easter. That's a big one. I always forget about Easter in April because I think of April as my birthday month, and that's the only holiday.
There's no other holidays in April.
Correct. I'm the main character of this story and everyone's story. So, but yeah, Easter for sure. You might catch me in the gym in a bunny costume, but that is my resolution: just celebrate all the major holidays, and I have to dress up.
Sorry.
Celebrate all the major holidays, and I have to dress up and kind of like be super into it. So I've got to drink green beer. I've got to be wearing green, stuff like that, so on and so forth. So That's my thing. Other than that, as far as anything else, habits and stuff like that, I'd like to change. I mean, I'll just change them on Monday.
I think you should post all of your costumes.
Yeah, like a year in review. Like
Yeah.
I celebrated National Cheesecake Day. Like,
I think you should have like a holiday a month.
is there a major one a month?
Well,
Yeah, they're pretty close.
almost. So what okay, besides New Year's Day, because I know you don't like New Year's Day in January. Where is it? Let me go to January. What other holidays are there?
Well, the problem is January is like 300 days long.
It is not. It is 31. That is my birthday month.
It feels a lot like 300.
It does. Yeah, I can't see the holidays on my calendar. How upsetting. How do I fix that? But yeah, I think that'd be really fun. I think it's really, really fun. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. I don't really have any New Year's resolutions as of right now, but I do always set myself New Year's resolutions. And they're different than like, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds next year. It's not really like that. It's more like, what is it that I want to accomplish in this next year? Like,
So, can I ask you, what was last year's New Year's resolution?
I don't remember, but I'm sure it was great.
You see my point? That's why I
Yeah.
don't like resolutions.
Yeah. Honestly, I wrote it down somewhere. I just have to find it. I have like I do a lot of like bullet journaling. So in one of my notebooks, I'm sure I have a New Year's resolution one in there. But it's more like, what is it that I want to accomplish in that year? And I kind of set like it's almost like it's the compass, and I kind of set a little bit of a direction. And usually it's not like, oh, that's the only time I set goals or something like that. I do think that whatever you want to do in life, you should like just start it immediately. Instead of
Absolutely.
waiting until Monday or the first of the month or something like that. So it's not like I do it for that, but I kind of look at, where did my life go this past year, and what direction am I going, and is it in the direction that I want to go in?
Yeah. The thing, I find the New Year's resolutions goals fascinating, where it's like, by all means, I've never been one to shit on people for going to the gym in the New Year's. Like, by all means, I go. The more the merrier. You know what I mean? Until I'm working out, and then I'm like, oh my god, there's so many people here. But here or there. But like, get your ass to the gym. The people that are like, I think I'm going to try to lose 7 pounds, get back down to my ideal weight. It's like, if you become my client within the next 72 hours before the new year, I can get you down 7 pounds. Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
Right.
we can do this right now.
I'll dehydrate you. You'll get there.
Not even like come train with me. Come train with me 4 times a week. You'll lose 7 pounds before New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just to do like 80%, 80, 90% of what I say, and it'll happen. You know what I mean? And it's like, why not just start now? Or maybe like, if you know you want to lose weight next year, like, why not work on those habits now? Like, you know, you need to drink more water. You know, you need to sleep more. You know, you need to eat more protein. Like, what if those are your only 3 goals, and then you start working out in January, but start doing that stuff now and stuff like that? And it's wild. It's like, no, I'll do it tomorrow. What's going to happen when tomorrow comes? Because you're not working out on January 1st. No.
Let me tell you about that. The people that are like, I'll start my diet on Monday, so I'm going to just feast all weekend long. Do you know how shitty you're going to feel on Monday when you start like changing your diet? So you're not going to be feeling great. And on top of it, now it's like you're adding like weight to your body that you have to lose first off again.
Yeah.
It is like the worst vicious cycle ever. Anyway, that's my little rant. But yeah, I do what I do with my clients a lot. I do kind of do something similar. What I do with myself is, you know, what went really well this year, what things do you want to keep going next year, and what things do you want to do differently. It's just kind of a chance for us to check in.
Yeah.
But again, everyone's different, right? So if you're like Anthony, you don't really like New Year's resolutions.
I don't like New Year's at all.
Well,
it's overhyped. It's an overhyped holiday.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. My baby's supposed to be born on New Year's Eve, so I feel like I can't have to reserve my judgment on it.
Well, for you, the hype is real. So like right now, you might be looking forward to New Year's Eve, but guess what? Let's say your baby's born January 3rd. Guess what holiday you no longer value?
I don't know. I've always kind of enjoyed New Year's Eve. I don't know. What happened to you on New Year's Eve?
So I was all dressed up one time, and
there is a story.
open open the scene
Yeah.
and a car drives by, splashes a puddle. No, I'm kidding. None of that happened. I honestly don't know. I should probably look into that. It's always like a logistical nightmare on New Year's Eve, and like obviously I don't haven't done too much for New Year's in a while, but everyone wants to go out. You want to get dolled up. Every place is busy. Then you got to find an Uber. Then this is like there's traffic. Then the weather, and I'm from the Northeast, so it's freezing cold. And then like so many things are going on, and it's like this is gonna be the best night ever, and it's just a regular night, and it's like the ball dropped, and it's like, oh, that was a letdown, and then you're hungover the next day. Like it's not my thing. If you have a solid argument for why New Year's is great, then let me know. But
I don't know. I've only ever done New Year's Eve at home. I've never actually done it out. Like it's always like you invite people over, dinner, it's poker.
Home is a solid one.
Like fireworks, go to bed.
Yeah. Like I spent New Year's Eve last year on FaceTime with someone that had COVID. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not my holiday. Like I would look. I'm more so looking forward to Flag Day than I am New Year's Eve.
That's kind of sad. Yeah, I don't know. I have nothing against New Year's Eve, but I also didn't have any like situations like that. Maybe because I just don't go out. I'm a homebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll switch it up for you this year, Anthony.
Maybe I just need something epic. Like I need to go to Dubai for New Year's Eve.
Maybe.
All right. 2023. If all is going well, I'll go to Dubai for New Year's Eve.
If you celebrate every holiday, I will give you $10 for your flight to Dubai.
Nice.
Maybe more. It depends on my business goes.
Yeah.
Oh, and if I'm not saving for a baby right now.
Just make the baby safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, put the baby to work.
Yeah.
Right
away. Yeah. Teach him right away the value of money.
Modeling agencies.
I mean, it better be a cute baby,
Child pop star, like.
Yeah, just take the baby's crying noises, turn into a song or something.
Like a remix.
Yeah.
That'd probably sound better than half of what's out there.
Yeah, probably. That's a funny idea. But
all right. Well, this has been super enjoyable.
Yes. It's been fun. It's been real.
We hit on some good topics, some of them hot button topics.
For sure.
Me and Sandra might have to schedule a debate about where deadlifts belong in your program.
I will phone in a friend for that debate. We'll phone in some friends and we'll have them discuss the deadlift.
Yeah.
But no, it's been real, Anthony.
Yes, this has been great. I will catch up with you later. To all you listening, have a wonderful December. If you went to the gym today or you're going to the gym, good. Get after it. Get involved. Feel dangerous. You got this.
For sure. Tomorrow, if you are German, you're celebrating St. Nicholas Day. So happy St. Nicholas Day.